Mother Teresa was born on August 26, 1910, in a city called Skopje, which is now part of North Macedonia. Her parents named her Angies Gonch Bohakshiu. She came from a loving family. Her mother, Drana, was kind and deeply religious. She taught Angies to care for others and to always help those in need. Her father, Nicola, was a businessman who believed in hard work and education. As a child, Angies was curious and thoughtful. She loved going to church and listening to stories about people who devoted their lives to God. She often helped her mother cook and care for neighbors who were sick or poor. These early experiences planted the seeds of compassion in her heart. Angies' life changed when she was 8 years old. Her father died suddenly, leaving the family with little money. Drana worked hard to support Angies and her siblings. Despite their struggles, Drana continued to teach her children the importance of faith and kindness. She would say, "Never eat a single mouthful unless you are sharing it with others." As Angies grew older, she felt a strong pull toward a life of service. At the age of 12, she decided she wanted to become a nun. She believed that God was calling her to help people, especially the poor. This decision was not easy. Becoming a nun meant leaving her family and her home. When she turned 18, Angies joined the Sisters of Loreto, a group of nuns dedicated to teaching and helping others. She traveled to Ireland to learn English, the language she would need for her future work. The nuns gave her a new name, Sister Mary Teresa. After several months, Sister Teresa traveled to India. She arrived in Calcutta, a city filled with both beauty and poverty. There, she began teaching at a school for girls from poor families. She loved her students and worked hard to give them a good education. Sister Teresa was happy, but something in her heart told her there was more she needed to do. Every day, she saw people on the streets who were hungry, sick, and dying. She couldn't ignore their suffering. She prayed for guidance and asked God to show her the way. One day, while traveling on a train, Sister Teresa felt a clear calling from God. She believed He was telling her to leave the convent and live among the poor. She called this her call within a call. She knew this would be a big change, but she trusted that God would help her. In 1948, Sister Teresa made the difficult decision to leave the Sisters of Loreto. She began wearing a simple white sari with a blue border, the clothing of India's poor women. She also changed her name to Mother Teresa. Now, she was ready to begin her mission of helping the poorest of the poor. Mother Teresa's new life was not easy. She lived in a small room in a poor neighborhood of Calcutta. She had no money, no school supplies, and no place to teach. But she did not give up. She started by teaching children in the streets. She used a stick to write letters and numbers in the dirt. The children loved her lessons, and soon, more and more of them came to learn. Mother Teresa also taught the children about cleanliness and health. She helped them wash their hands and faces. For many of them, it was the first time anyone had cared about their well-being. As word spread about Mother Teresa's work, people began to help her. Some gave her food, clothes, and money. Others joined her mission. These helpers became the first members of her new group, the Missionaries of Charity. They were women who, like Mother Teresa, wanted to dedicate their lives to serving the poor. The Missionaries of Charity grew quickly. They opened a home for people who were sick and dying. In Calcutta, many people lived on the streets, and hospitals were often too full to care for everyone. Mother Teresa wanted to give these people a place to die with dignity. She and her helpers cleaned their wounds, fed them, and stayed by their sides. One of the first people they cared for was a man found lying in the street. He was covered in sores and very weak. Mother Teresa took him to their home and cleaned his wounds. She held his hand as he passed away. He died peacefully, knowing someone cared for him. The work was hard, but Mother Teresa believed it was important. She said, "We cannot do great things, but we can do small things with great love." These small acts of love brought hope and comfort to many people. As the Missionaries of Charity grew, they began to help in other ways. They opened homes for orphans, schools for poor children, and clinics for the sick. They also started soup kitchens to feed the hungry. Mother Teresa's mission was to care for anyone in need, no matter their background or religion. Mother Teresa's work inspired people around the world. Some came to Calcutta to join her mission. Others started similar projects in their own countries. She became a symbol of compassion and selflessness. Despite her growing fame, Mother Teresa stayed humble. She continued to live simply, wearing her white sari and blue border. She ate the same food as the poor and worked alongside her helpers. She believed that serving others was the greatest privilege. Mother Teresa's work was not without challenges. Some people criticized her methods, saying she focused too much on caring for the dying instead of trying to prevent poverty. Others questioned her religious views. But Mother Teresa stayed focused on her mission. She said, "If you judge people, you have no time to love them." By the 1970s, the Missionaries of Charity had expanded to other countries. They opened homes in Africa, Europe, and the Americas. Mother Teresa traveled tirelessly to support these new missions and to encourage her helpers. In 1979, Mother Teresa received one of the greatest honors in the world, the Nobel Peace Prize. This award is given to people who work to promote peace and improve the lives of others. Mother Teresa was chosen because of her dedication to helping the poor and sick. At the award ceremony in Oslo, Norway, Mother Teresa gave a simple but powerful speech. She talked about the importance of love and kindness. She said, "It is not how much we give, but how much love we put into giving." She also asked everyone to think about ways they could help those in need. Mother Teresa used the prize money, which was about $190,000, to build more homes for the poor. She believed the money could do the most good if it was used to help those who had nothing. After winning the Nobel Peace Prize, Mother Teresa became even more famous. People from all over the world invited her to visit their countries. She traveled to places where there were natural disasters, wars, and famines. Wherever she went, she brought hope and comfort to those who were suffering. One of the places Mother Teresa visited was Ethiopia, a country in Africa that was experiencing a terrible famine. Thousands of people were starving, and children were dying every day. Mother Teresa set up a feeding center to provide food and care. She worked tirelessly to help the people, showing them they were not forgotten. In the 1980s, Mother Teresa also worked with people who had AIDS. At that time, many people were afraid of this disease, and those who had it were often treated badly. Mother Teresa opened homes where AIDS patients could receive care and love. She wanted to show the world that these people deserved respect and compassion. Even as she became famous, Mother Teresa stayed true to her mission. She continued to live simply and focus on her work. She often said, "I am a little pencil in the hand of God." She believed she was just a tool to do God's work, and she never took credit for her achievements. Mother Teresa's helpers, the Missionaries of Charity, grew in number. By the 1990s, there were thousands of members in over 100 countries. They cared for the sick, fed the hungry, and gave shelter to the homeless. They followed Mother Teresa's example of serving with love and humility. However, Mother Teresa's health began to decline. She had a weak heart and often felt tired. Despite this, she continued to work as much as she could. She traveled to visit her missions and encouraged her helpers. She believed that every moment was an opportunity to serve others. In 1997, Mother Teresa decided to step down as the leader of the Missionaries of Charity. She wanted to ensure that the organization would continue its work even after she was gone. She chose Sister Namolo, one of her trusted helpers, to take her place. On September 5, 1997, the world lost one of its most compassionate and dedicated souls. Mother Teresa passed away in Calcutta at the age of 87. Her death brought sadness to millions of people, but it also inspired them to continue her work. Her funeral was attended by leaders and people from all over the world. She was given a state funeral in India, an honor usually reserved for important political figures. The streets were lined with people who came to say goodbye to the woman who had spent her life helping others. Even after her death, Mother Teresa's legacy lived on. The Missionaries of Charity continued their work, following the principles she had taught them. They cared for the poor, the sick, and the dying with the same love and dedication. In 2003, just 6 years after her death, Mother Teresa was beatified by the Catholic Church. This was an important step toward sainthood. She was given the title, Blessed Teresa of Calcutta. The Church recognized her life as an example of extraordinary faith and compassion. In 2016, Mother Teresa was officially declared a saint by Pope Francis. The ceremony took place in St. Peter's Square in Vatican City, with thousands of people attending. She was now known as Saint Teresa of Calcutta. Saint Teresa's life is remembered not only by the Catholic Church, but also by people of all religions and backgrounds. She showed the world the power of kindness and love. She taught that helping others, no matter how small the act, can make a big difference. Her quotes continue to inspire people. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. If you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier. Saint Teresa's story reminds us that we all have the ability to make the world a better place. She believed that even one person can bring change by choosing to love and serve others. Today, the Missionaries of Charity still carry out her work. They run homes for the dying, orphanages, and schools for poor children. They care for people with AIDS, leprosy, and other illnesses. Through their actions, they keep Mother Teresa's spirit alive. Mother Teresa's life was a testament to the power of faith, love, and humility. She dedicated her life to the service of the poorest and most vulnerable, showing the world that true greatness comes from helping others. Her legacy continues to shine, inspiring new generations to follow her example.